Hello, my beautiful rainbow people. Welcome back to Druggies Lives Matter, my Black Lives Matter offshoot program, which extends the use of police brutality against drug users, as well as blacks and people of color. Because our problems with police brutality, I believe, are based just as much on the war on drugs as they are on the oppression of the minorities. Because I believe the war on drugs has given the police, since 1939, a license to victimize Americans. They see all of us as potential criminals. And as potential criminals, they see us as a threat. And that threat has evolved into this do or die situation where every cop thinks that every time he comes into the presence of a person of color, that his life is in imminent danger. And as a result, the person of color usually dies. And that is an existential problem. But those black lives, those minority lives, how many of them are based on drug use? Because at Seven's trial, they tried to blame the drug use for the death. Oh, it wasn't my knee on his neck. It was the drugs in his system. And it was the drugs in his system that gave Chavis the right to think that George was a threat. So whether or not Chauvin is a white supremacist, he's a drug supremacist. He's anti-drug. And if he thinks that you are any way related to drugs, that you are automatically worthy of death, because all thought of restraint goes out the door. You could see that from the look on his face, from his attitude. And he is an example of way too many of what police are. It's the very fact that they had to try to pin his death on drugs that appalls me and makes my point. Because if George Floyd had been a white long-haired man, even if he had not been long-haired, if they had found drugs in his system, that would have been the big, here you go, here's your reason. He does drugs, he's a terrible person, he deserves to go to prison, he deserves to die. And his white supremacy attitude just made it all that much easier for him to kill George Floyd. But it was the laws opposing the use of drugs and the attitude of the police towards drug users that had more to do with that black man's death, I believe, than his color. Because it was the war on drugs that gave the police the mentality to think that they had the right. Not so much of the black thing, because we have laws that are supposed to make that harder. Doesn't work. And I'm really, really afraid of what the police are going to do now. Because their authority has been undermined. They are no longer free to run roughshod over us, whether we be black, white, red, or brown. Because they are no longer seen as above reproach, above guilt, above prison. So now, every time a cop pulls somebody over, especially a person of color or somebody who's drugs, they're going to be torn between their training, their beliefs, and the new fear. And that fear stems from the anger, is going to turn into anger. Because no white man worth his shit is going to show fear to anybody, especially if he's got a badge. So I think that we are in for a very traumatic period in our history. Because the white supremacists are backing the police. And their authority is also being undermined. And they're already fighting this. Every mass shooting that's going on right now, I believe it stems from white supremacy. I think that the mass shooters are the new suicide bombers. And I think it's going to get worse. Because now, they are being subjugated. Their authority, which they have enjoyed through the police, is now being undermined. They've been shown that America is not theirs to rule. They've been shown that they cannot treat my beautiful rainbow people the way they have. That we're done with them. We're done putting up with their crap. That's what this trial means. That even that America itself is done. So all of those people in society that are appalled at Chauvin's prison sentence are going to be up in arms. So I believe that there is going to be an upsurge in mass shootings. And I believe that there are going to be, we're going to see more Trumpian rallies supporting the police, supporting white supremacy, in a show of force trying to cower my beautiful rainbow people back into our defenseless state of oppression. But we've had it. Enough is enough. We've crossed the line of I don't give a fuck. We did that when George Floyd died before our eyes on live internet. They crossed the line. They crossed the line of I don't give a fuck what the public sees me do. I'm in the right. And that was the time when we crossed the line and said, I don't give a fuck what you think you have the right to do, because you don't. And now, we're in a battle for the soul and the spirit of America. Our two camps just got into battle stance. The lines have been drawn. And the potential for violence is real. Which is why I advocate for a camp out for freedom. We need to stop protesting in diverse places. We need one central place to stand firm and united as a nation. It's time to stop being states. It's time to start being a nation. It's time to come together in a stand of solidarity. All colors, all creeds, all nationalities, all religions, all professions. We need to stand up not only for black lives, but for drug lives, for homeless lives, for poor lives, for all those that the white supremacists have suppressed for so long. So, no matter the color of your skin, if you do drugs, look out. Because you see, we were in the streets with the black people, and the police saw that. They saw all of the minorities and the poor white people come together in the streets as one diverse, molting pot. And they hate it. And they're losing their power base. They're losing their authority, they're losing their control. And they're not going to lose it willingly. So I'm really, really afraid for us right now. So, when you come to the conclusion that we have to band together or we're going to implode, come here to the center of it all and let's take a stand. Let's stand united in all our races, all our ethnicities, and all of our sexual orientations, and all our religious and non-religious beliefs. Let's be what America was always meant to be. A people united from all color streets, a beautiful rainbow people as I am. I am so afraid for us, because the policemen like Chevy, scare the hell out of me for America. Because they have just been given their warning. All of their authority is being undermined in their eyes. And if they don't go through every police department in this nation and root out all of the white supremacists in the police department, it's going to get worse. Because either they're going to be so afraid to do anything that it's going to be sheer chaos, the police are not even going to interact with people anymore, or they're going to try to force their authority back onto us, to put us in our place and make us go back to the way things were. And the government's not going to do a damn thing because they're too at each other's throats to begin with. So I'm saying, please, America, come to me. Come to the middle. Come stand with me and take a stand against oppression, against police violence, against political ineptitude, against global warming, homelessness, the money elite, the corporate takeover of the government, and police brutality. Because I think that they're going to get more brutal now. Because the more we force them to comply with justice, the less they're going to be willing to do that. They're so used to force of arms, that's all they know. So when they push back, it's not going to be pretty. So if you do drugs, and if you're of color, LGBTQ, anyone who the white supremacists would deem to be beneath them, be warned. Because America is about ready to go through a cleansing, a purging. We must purge violence from our system, or we are going to be overrun with it. So stay safe. May the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm. May they teach you right from wrong, and may you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good and light, the unicorn way. Find your joy and pursue it, and make that your guild choice, and get to Camp Zion. I don't have much to offer, but my door is always open. Come find me in York, Nebraska. Let's change America for the better. Stay happy and high. Use drugs you have every right and reason to. I am the Zion of the Most High God of Israel, the prophet of the Old Testament, foretold. I love you too much to say goodbye, so I'm going to say later now.